The day the aliens came changed everything. Large ships appeared in the sky above every major city on Earth. They did not attack. They simply waited. Lisa Winters watched the news from her small apartment. She sat on the edge of her couch, still sweaty from her morning workout. At 32, she kept the same strict routine she had followed during her fighting days. 5 miles running, 2 hours of mixed training, protein shake, then shower, then work. "This is not a drill," said the nervous news anchor. "We repeat, this is not a drill." Lisa sipped her shake and pulled her dark hair into a tight ponytail. Unlike most people, she felt oddly calm. Years in the cage had taught her that panic never helped anything. 3 days later, the aliens spoke. They called themselves the Galactic Confederation. They have been watching Earth for decades. Now they wanted to talk. "We offer friendship," said their message, broadcast in every language on Earth. "We offer knowledge. We offer the stars." Lisa didn't trust them, but no one asked her opinion. She was just security, hired to protect important people who made important decisions. 2 months passed. World leaders met with alien representatives. Papers were signed. Deals were made. The Confederation claimed to be peaceful, a collection of 17 different alien species who worked together. Earth would be the 18th member, they said. A junior member still learning. Lisa found herself assigned to the security detail for the first human delegation to visit the Confederation's central hub, a space station bigger than Manhattan that orbited a distant star. The trip would take 3 weeks in the alien ships. "Why me?" she asked her boss, a gray-haired man named Sam. Sam shrugged. "They asked for someone with combat experience who isn't military. You fit the bill." "What aren't you telling me?" Lisa pressed. Sam looked uncomfortable. "The aliens, they think we're weak. Physically, I mean. Compared to them, having someone like you might change their minds." Lisa understood then. She was a prop, walking proof that humans could be tough too. The delegation consisted of 12 people, 4 diplomats, 3 scientists, 2 cultural experts, 2 security officers including Lisa, and 1 medical doctor. They boarded the alien ship with much fanfare and many cameras. Lisa didn't like the ship. The air felt too thick. The gravity seemed slightly off. The food was bland. The beds were too soft. But she kept her complaints to herself and watched the aliens carefully. The ship was run by the Zeth, blue-skinned humanoids with 4 arms who moved with startling speed. They treated the humans like children, speaking slowly and explaining simple concepts in great detail. "They think we're stupid," whispered Alan, the other security officer, during their 3rd day in space. Lisa nodded. Not just stupid, weak. She noticed how the Zeth crew stared at the humans when they thought no one was looking. Not with hate or fear, with something worse. Pity. On the 5th day, Lisa met her first non-Zeth alien, a massive creature covered in plates that looked like armor. Its name was unpronounceable, so the humans called it Rex. It served as some kind of diplomatic attaché. "Small humans," Rex said when introduced to the delegation. "Very fragile, very soft." Lisa stepped forward and offered her hand to shake, as she had been instructed. Rex took it, then squeezed. Hard. Testing her. Lisa did not flinch. She did not pull away. She met Rex's 4 yellow eyes with a steady gaze until the alien released her. "This one has spirit," Rex said, sounding surprised. That night, Lisa learned more about the Confederation from the ship's database. 17 species, dozens of planets, centuries of history. And one thing became clear to her with each new fact she learned. In the Confederation, strength mattered. Physical power earned respect, and humanity was at the bottom of that ladder. As the ship moved through the darkness toward their destination, Lisa began to worry. She had been hired to protect the delegation, but how could she protect them in a place where everyone was stronger, faster, and tougher than humans? She didn't know the answer, but she would find one. She always did. After 3 weeks in space, the human delegation arrived at the central hub of the Galactic Confederation. Lisa pressed her face to the viewing window as the ship approached. The space station was enormous. It looked like a giant wheel spinning slowly in the darkness. Lights covered its surface, blinking and glowing in patterns Lisa couldn't understand. "It's 5 times the size of New York City," said Dr. Olivia Kent, the delegation's science officer. Lisa said nothing. She just watched as they drew closer. The ship docked with a gentle bump. The doors hissed open, and the humans stepped onto the station for the first time. The air smelled strange, like metal and something sweet Lisa couldn't place. The gravity felt slightly stronger than on Earth, making her steps heavier. They were greeted by officials from different species. Tall, thin aliens with gray skin, short, furry creatures with 6 limbs, and several of the armored beings like Rex. "Welcome to Unity Station," said one of the gray aliens. "You will be shown to your quarters. Tomorrow, the formal meetings begin." The humans were given a section of the station to themselves. The rooms were comfortable, but designed for bodies different from their own. The beds were too wide, the chairs too tall, the doorways unnecessarily high. Lisa spent her first night exploring their area, mapping exits and potential danger points, old habits from her security work. As she walked through a corridor near their sleeping quarters, she heard voices. Alien voices, speaking in the common language they had been taught on the ship. "Humans are so small, like children. They break easily. I heard their bones snap under minimal pressure. They were given a bad sector, far from the true power, as is proper for weaklings." Lisa stood in the shadows, listening. The aliens didn't know she was there, or maybe they didn't care, she heard. The next morning, the delegation was taken on a tour of the station. They walked for hours through corridors and open spaces filled with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Most ignored the humans. Some stared. A few made gestures that might have been polite greetings or rude insults. Lisa couldn't tell. "This is the Hall of Species," their guide said, leading them into a massive room with walls covered in symbols. Each mark represents a member race of the Confederation. Lisa noticed that some symbols were larger, more prominent. The guide explained nothing about this, but Lisa understood. Hierarchy, status, power. "And here," said the guide, leading them to another part of the station, "is the arena." They entered a huge circular space with rows of seats surrounding a central area. It looked like a sports stadium, but there was something different about it. Something that made Lisa's skin crawl. "What happens here?" asked Alan, the other security officer. The guide's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The arena is where disputes are sometimes settled, through demonstration of skill and strength." "You mean fighting," Lisa said. "When necessary," the guide replied. "It is an ancient tradition. Many races prefer to resolve certain conflicts through physical contest rather than endless talk." Lisa looked around at the arena. It was currently empty, but she could imagine it filled with spectators. Watching. Judging. "Has a human ever competed here?" asked Carl Bennett, one of the diplomats. The guide made a sound like water bubbling. Lisa realized it was laughter. "Of course not," the guide said. "Humans are new to the Confederation, and not well suited to such contests." Lisa felt the familiar heat of anger in her chest, but she kept her face calm. She had heard those words before, from opponents who underestimated her, from coaches who thought she was too small, from everyone who had ever told her she couldn't. That night, there was a formal reception for the human delegation. All 12 humans dressed in their best clothes and entered a large hall filled with representatives from other species. Music played from unseen sources. Strange foods and drinks were served by robotic attendants. Lisa stood near a wall, watching the room. She noticed how the other species clustered together, how they moved in the space, who deferred to whom. And she saw the looks they gave the humans. Curious, amused, dismissive. Not what you expected. A voice asked beside her. Lisa turned. One of the diplomats, Paul Rivera, had joined her at her watching post. "It's exactly what I expected," Lisa said. "They think we're a joke." The next 3 days passed in a blur of meetings and tours. The human delegation sat through long talks about trade, technology sharing, and the rules of the Confederation. Lisa stood guard, watching and listening. On the 4th day, things went wrong. The humans were meeting with representatives from a species called the Vraxians. They were large creatures, nearly 8 feet tall, with thick gray skin that looked like rock. They moved slowly but gave the impression of great strength. Peter Lewis, the lead human diplomat, was explaining Earth's resources when the Vraxian leader interrupted. "Why should we care about your planet's offerings?" the Vraxian said. Its voice was deep, like stones grinding together. "Your world is small. Your people are soft. What can you possibly give the Confederation that we need?" Peter tried to continue professionally. "Earth may be new to the galactic community, but we have much to offer. Our art, our culture." The Vraxian made a loud noise. Lisa realized it was laughing. "Art, culture," it said. "These are the concerns of weak species. The Confederation needs strength, resources, power." Lisa saw Peter's face turn red. He had been warned not to show anger, but the insult was too direct. "Humanity is not weak," Peter said, his voice tight. "We have survived countless challenges on our world." Challenges. The Vraxian stood up. It towered over Peter. "Your gravity is light. Your predators are small. You have never faced true tests." The room went quiet. The other aliens watched, some with interest, some looking uncomfortable. "I suggest," the Vraxian continued, "that humans would be better suited as a protected species, not full members of the Confederation." Lisa understood what this meant. They would be pets, or worse, a resource to be managed, not equals. Peter looked at the other diplomats for support, but found none. This was a test, Lisa realized. A test the humans were failing. "That is not acceptable," Peter said finally. The Vraxian leaned down until its face was close to Peter's. "Then prove your worth, human." What happened next shocked everyone. The Vraxian reached out one massive hand and shoved Peter. The diplomat stumbled backward and fell to the floor. Lisa moved instantly, putting herself between Peter and the alien. She didn't draw her weapon. That would cause an interstellar incident, but her stance made it clear she was ready to fight. "Enough," said another alien, one of the tall gray ones. "This is not the place for such discussions." The Vraxian looked at Lisa with 4 yellow eyes. "Your protector has spirit, but spirit is not enough in the Confederation." Then it spoke words that changed everything. "I, Cragthorn of the Vraxian High Clan, issue formal challenge to the Earth delegation to settle the question of humanity's status in the Confederation." The room erupted in noise. Lisa helped Peter to his feet as the diplomats argued in multiple languages. Finally, the gray alien called for quiet. "A formal challenge has been issued," it said. "By Confederation law, Earth must either accept or withdraw their petition for full membership." "What exactly is this challenge?" asked Captain Andrea Monroe, the delegation leader. "Combat in the arena," the gray alien said. "One champion from the Vraxians, one from Earth. The outcome will advise the Council on humanity's proper place." The humans gathered in a corner to discuss. Lisa stood nearby, listening. "We can't accept," Peter said, still shaken. "None of us are fighters. If we refuse, we lose all respect," said Captain Monroe. "We'll be seen as cowards." "We can request time," another diplomat suggested. "Ask to bring a champion from Earth." "That would take months," Captain Monroe said. "We'd lose momentum." Lisa took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I'll do it," she said. Everyone turned to look at her. "You?" Peter said. "But you're a woman?" Lisa asked, her voice hard. "Security," not a diplomat. Peter finished. I was a professional fighter for 10 years, Lisa said. Mixed martial arts. Undefeated my last 3 years. Captain Monroe frowned. Against humans. These Vraxians are twice your size. Size isn't everything, Lisa said. I've beaten bigger opponents before. Not alien opponents, Peter argued. Lisa looked at each of them. If we refuse, we're done here. If we delay, we look weak. I'm our best option. The room fell silent again. Finally, Captain Monroe nodded. Against my better judgment, she said, Lisa Winters will be Earth's champion. The Vraxian heard this and grinned, showing teeth like small stones. The little female, it said. This will be brief. The challenge was set for 3 days later. Lisa spent every waking hour preparing. She had access to very little information about Vraxians, but she studied what she could find in the station's database. Vraxians came from a heavy gravity world. Their skin was like natural armor. They were strong but slow. They had poor eyesight but excellent hearing. It wasn't much to work with, but Lisa had fought with less. On the second day of preparation, Lisa was training in the small gym area of the human quarters when she heard a noise. She turned to see a small alien watching her from the doorway. It was about 4 feet tall, with green-brown skin that looked like scales. It had large eyes and a mouth that seemed too wide for its face. You are the human fighter, the alien said. Its voice was high and raspy. Lisa stopped her workout. Yes. Can I help you? The alien entered the room. I am Zix. I work in maintenance. I clean. I fix things. Nice to meet you, Lisa said, unsure why this alien was here. You fight Cragthorn tomorrow, Zix said. It wasn't a question. That's right. Zix made a strange sound, like air escaping from a balloon. You will lose. You will die. Lisa frowned. Thanks for the vote of confidence. No, listen, Zix said, coming closer. I tell you this because I like humans. You are kind to maintenance workers. You say thank you. Others do not. I appreciate that, Lisa said, but I still have to fight. Zix looked around, as if checking for others. Vraxians have weak spots, places not protected by hard skin. Lisa's attention sharpened. Go on. Underarms, Zix said, pointing to its own armpit, between neck and shoulder. And here. It pointed to the back of its knee-like joint. How do you know this? Lisa asked. Maintenance workers see much, learn much. Zix's wide mouth formed what might have been a smile. I clean arena after fights. I see what works against Vraxians. Lisa considered this information. If true, it could be valuable. But it could also be a trick to make her target the wrong areas. Why help me? She asked. Balance, Zix said simply. Confederation needs balance. Vraxians too powerful already. Humans bring new ideas. Lisa nodded slowly. Thank you, Zix. I appreciate the help. Zix moved toward the door. One more thing. Vraxians hate shame more than pain. Make Cragthorn look foolish, and he will make mistakes. With that, the small alien left, leaving Lisa to think about this new information. Later that day, the human delegation met for dinner. The mood was grim. The odds in the station's betting pools are not in your favor, Captain Monroe told Lisa. 500 to 1 against you. Good, Lisa said. If any of you bet on me, you'll get rich. No one laughed. This isn't a joke, Peter said. The medical team examined a Vraxian who died of natural causes. Their bone density is 3 times ours. Their skin is like Kevlar. I know, Lisa said, but I'm not planning to get hit. That's exactly what will happen, Dr. Kent said. These beings are built like tanks. Lisa put down her fork. Look, I know you're worried, but I've spent my life being underestimated, being told I can't win, and I'm still here. This is different, Captain Monroe argued. This isn't a human opponent. Fighting is fighting, Lisa replied. It's about finding weaknesses. creating openings, using your opponent's strength against them. The delegation fell silent. Finally, Alan, the other security officer, spoke up. "I've seen Lisa train," he said. "If anyone has a chance, it's her." Lisa gave him a grateful look. That night, she couldn't sleep. She lay awake, thinking about the fight to come, about what Zix had told her, about all the people counting on her. She thought about Earth, so far away, about what would happen if she failed. Would humanity be forever seen as weak, as not worthy of respect? Lisa got up and went to the viewport in her room. She could see stars through the window, countless points of light in the darkness. Somewhere out there was the sun, her son, Earth's son. "I won't let you down," she whispered, though there was no one to hear her. The next morning, Lisa prepared herself. She stretched carefully. She ate a light meal. She put on the simple fighting clothes she had brought from Earth. No armor. It would only slow her down. A message came. It was time. Guards arrived to escort her to the arena. As Lisa walked through the corridors of the station, aliens stopped to stare at her. Some laughed. Some made gestures she didn't understand. None looked impressed. Good, Lisa thought. Let them underestimate me. It's worked in my favor before. The arena was even larger than Lisa remembered from the tour. Thousands of aliens filled the seats that rose high above the fighting floor. The noise was overwhelming. Clicks, whistles, roars, and sounds Lisa had no words for. She stood in a small waiting area beneath the stands. The human delegation was with her, giving last-minute advice that she barely heard. Her focus was narrowing, as it always did before a fight. "You don't have to go through with this," Captain Monroe said, putting a hand on Lisa's shoulder. "We can find another way." Lisa shook her head. "We're past that point. This is happening." A tall, thin alien with blue skin approached. "It is time," it announced. "The human champion will enter now." Lisa took a deep breath and nodded to her colleagues. "See you after." She followed the blue alien through a tunnel that led to the arena floor. The noise grew louder. As she stepped out into the open space, a spotlight found her. The crowd's reaction was immediate, a mixture of laughter and jeers. "The human champion enters," a voice announced in multiple languages. Lisa Winters of Earth. On the other side of the arena, another tunnel opened. A massive figure emerged. Cragthorn, the Vraxian, was even larger than Lisa had expected, almost 9 feet tall with arms as thick as her waist. Its gray rock-like skin caught the light. It wore minimal armor, just chest and leg plates that seemed more ceremonial than protective. "The Vraxian champion enters," the announcer said. "Cragthorn of High Clan Mora." The crowd roared its approval. Lisa saw money and other items changing hands in the stands, betting on her defeat, no doubt. A third alien entered the arena, a small hovering creature that appeared to be the referee. It floated to the center and gestured for both fighters to approach. Lisa walked forward, keeping her breathing steady. She felt small in the vast space, under the gaze of thousands of alien eyes. But she had felt small before. In her first professional fight, in championship bouts, this was no different. She studied Cragthorn as they met in the center. The Vraxian towered over her, its 4 yellow eyes looking down with obvious contempt. "Rules of combat," the referee announced. "The fight continues until submission, incapacitation, or death. No weapons allowed. No outside interference permitted. Victory by any means within these rules is valid." The referee looked at both fighters. "Do you understand and agree?" "Yes," Lisa said. Cragthorn made a sound like rocks grinding together. The referee took it as agreement. "Begin when the signal sounds," the referee said, then floated away. Lisa and Cragthorn were left facing each other. The Vraxian leaned down slightly. "Small human," it said in the common language. "I will try not to kill you. Just break most of your bones." Lisa said nothing. She was assessing, planning, remembering Zix's advice, looking for the weak spots, under the arms, between neck and shoulder, back of the knee joint. A loud tone rang out. The signal to begin. Cragthorne didn't move immediately. It stood, arms spread wide, playing to the crowd. Lissa took a fighting stance, light on her feet despite the slightly heavier gravity. The Vraxian turned back to her and laughed. A deep, rumbling sound. "You stand like a warrior," it said. Amusing. Lisa remained silent. She circled slowly, keeping distance between them. Let the Vraxian talk. Let it underestimate her. She had used that to her advantage many times. Cragthorne grew impatient with her caution. It stepped forward, surprisingly fast for its size. Lissa dodged easily, moving just out of reach. The crowd made noises that sounded like disapproval. They wanted action, not caution. "Stop dancing, human," Cragthorne growled. "Face me." Lisa continued to circle. She needed to make the Vraxian angry. Make it careless. She remembered Zix's words. Vraxians hate shame more than pain. "I'm just giving the crowd time to place their bets," Lisa said loudly enough for nearby spectators to hear. "Though I don't know why anyone would bet on you. You move like you're stuck in mud." The nearby aliens translated her words, and they spread quickly through the arena. Laughter followed, not at her, but at Cragthorne. The Vraxian's yellow eyes narrowed. It let out a roar that shook the floor beneath Lisa's feet. "You will regret those words," it said, and charged. Lisa waited until the last possible moment, then sidestepped. But Cragthorne was quicker than she expected. One massive arm swung out, catching her shoulder. The impact sent Lisa flying across the arena floor. She rolled, trying to absorb the force, but pain exploded through her body. She hit the ground hard and slid to a stop. The crowd roared as Lisa lay on the hard floor of the arena. She could hear the human delegation shouting from somewhere in the stands, their voices lost in the noise. The impact had knocked the air from her lungs. Pain shot through her right shoulder where Cragthorne had struck her. Lisa didn't move. Not yet. She kept her eyes closed and felt the vibration of heavy footsteps approaching. The Vraxian was coming to finish her, but it was taking its time, playing to the crowd. In her mind, Lisa assessed the damage. Shoulder bruised, maybe a small fracture. Nothing broken badly. She could still fight, but she needed a plan. Direct confrontation was clearly not going to work. Through nearly closed eyes, she saw Cragthorne standing over her. The massive alien raised its arms to the crowd, soaking in their cheers. It thought the fight was already over. "The human female is done," Cragthorne announced. As expected, the alien turned to look at the human delegation. "This is the best Earth can offer," it said, loud enough for all to hear. "Perhaps humans should be kept as pets, not allies." Laughter rippled through the arena. Lissa could almost feel the humiliation radiating from her fellow humans. This was about more than just her. This was about Earth's future in the galaxy. Cragthorne turned back to Lisa and nudged her with one large foot. "Get up, human, or submit. I will grant you that mercy." Lisa remained still, just a little longer. The Vraxian leaned down, bringing its face closer to her. "Can you hear me, small one? Your fight is over. Now." In one fluid motion, Lisa rolled away from the foot and sprang to her feet. The movement was so unexpected that Cragthorne actually stumbled back in surprise. The crowd gasped. "My fight," Lisa said, spitting blood onto the arena floor, "is just beginning." For a moment, the arena was silent. Then noise erupted again. Cheers, jeers, and that strange sound of alien money changing hands as new bets were placed. Cragthorne recovered quickly from its surprise. Its yellow eyes narrowed to slits. "You are resilient," it said, "but that only means more pain for you." Lisa didn't respond. She was watching the Vraxian's movements now with new understanding. That first hit had taught her something valuable. Despite their armor-like skin, Vraxians telegraphed their attacks. There was a slight shift in weight, a tensing of muscles before they moved. She began to circle again, but differently now. Her steps were precise, measured. She was no longer just avoiding. She was hunting. Cragthorne grew frustrated with her movement and charged again. This time, Lisa was ready. She waited until the last possible moment, then ducked under the swinging arm and delivered a sharp strike to the spot where Zix had indicated, under the arm where the skin looked slightly lighter. The Vraxian roared, more in surprise than pain. It spun with surprising speed and caught Lisa with a backhanded blow that sent her tumbling across the floor again. This time, Lisa rolled with the impact and came up in a fighting stance. Blood trickled from her split lip. Her ribs ached, but she was smiling. The crowd was changing. The laughter had stopped. Now there was something else in the air. Interest. Curiosity. They hadn't expected her to get up the first time. Certainly not the second. Cragthorne was no longer playing to the audience. Its full attention was on Lisa now. It approached more cautiously, massive arms slightly raised for both attack and defense. "You have some skill," it admitted, "but skill will not overcome strength." Lisa kept circling, looking for another opening. "Why don't you come find out?" The taunt worked. Cragthorne lunged forward, faster than before. Lisa sidestepped again, but the Vraxian had learned too. It changed direction mid-charge, its massive hand closing around Lisa's arm. With seemingly no effort, Cragthorne lifted Lisa off the ground. She dangled from its grip, feet kicking uselessly in the air. The Vraxian brought her close to its face. "Now," it said, "the game ends." With a powerful motion, Cragthorne hurled Lisa across the arena. She flew through the air, unable to control her fall. Her body slammed into the hard floor and slid until she hit the wall that surrounded the fighting area. Pain exploded through every inch of her. For a moment, blackness threatened to take her. Lisa fought against unconsciousness. If she passed out, the fight was over. Earth would lose. The arena had gone quiet. Even the Vraxians seemed to think the fight was truly done now. Lisa could hear medical teams being called. She could feel blood running down her face from a cut on her forehead. With tremendous effort, Lisa pushed herself up to her hands and knees. Her vision swam. Her body screamed in protest. But still she rose. Cragthorne watched in disbelief as the small human female stood up once more. Lisa wiped blood from her mouth and stared directly at the Vraxian. "My turn," she said. The arena fell completely silent as Lisa stood facing Cragthorne. Blood trickled down her face. Her right arm hung slightly lower than her left. Her breathing was heavy but controlled. Cragthorne seemed confused. In all its fights, no opponent had gotten up after being thrown like that, especially not a small, soft-skinned human. "Stay down," the Vraxian said. "You have shown courage. That is enough." Lisa shook her head slowly. Not enough for Earth. She began moving toward Cragthorne. Not circling this time. Straight ahead. Direct. Her steps were steady despite her injuries. Her eyes never left the Vraxian's face. The crowd stirred, unsure what was happening. The human delegation watched in stunned silence from their seats. No one had expected this. Cragthorne spread its massive arms. "Then come, human. Meet your end with honor." Lisa kept walking forward. As she moved, her mind cleared. The pain faded to the background. She had been here before, in that mental space fighter's reach when everything simplifies. When the body is hurt, but the mind takes over. 10 feet away from Cragthorne, Lisa stopped. She could feel thousands of eyes on her, feel the weight of Earth's future on her shoulders. She took a deep breath. And then she smiled. The smile confused Cragthorne. It was not what the Vraxian expected. It hesitated for just a fraction of a second. That was all Lisa needed. She launched forward with every bit of speed her battered body could produce. Cragthorne swung a massive arm to block her, but Lisa had anticipated this. She ducked under the swing and drove her fist into the spot between the Vraxian's neck and shoulder, the second weak point Zix had told her about. Cragthorne grunted in pain but recovered quickly. It spun around, faster than Lisa expected, and caught her with a powerful blow to her side. She felt ribs crack, but managed to stay on her feet. The crowd was roaring now. This fight had become something no one anticipated. The small human refusing to fall, the mighty Vraxian unable to finish her. Lisa backed away, catching her breath. Crag Thorne followed, more cautious now. It had respect in its eyes where mockery had been before. "You fight well," it said, "but you cannot win." Lisa didn't waste energy on a reply. She was watching the Vraxian's movements, looking for patterns, weaknesses, openings. Crag Thorne lunged forward again. Lisa sidestepped, but the Vraxian had learned her moves. It adjusted mid-stride and caught her with a glancing blow to her shoulder. Lisa stumbled but kept her feet. The fight continued this way for several minutes, the Vraxian attacking, Lisa evading when she could, taking hits when she couldn't. Each time Crag Thorne struck her, the crowd expected her to stay down. Each time she rose again, their surprise grew. Lisa was tiring. Her body had limits, and she was reaching them. Crag Thorne seemed to sense this. It pressed forward more aggressively, backing Lisa toward the wall of the arena. "It ends now," the Vraxian said. Lisa found herself trapped against the wall. Crag Thorne towered over her, blocking any escape. The Vraxian drew back its fist for a finishing blow. In that moment, time seemed to slow for Lisa. She saw everything with perfect clarity. The position of Crag Thorne's feet, the slight overextension of its arm, the unprotected spot behind its knee, the third weak point. As Crag Thorne's fist came toward her, Lisa dropped to the floor and rolled between the Vraxian's legs. In one fluid motion, she came up behind it and struck hard at the back of its knee. The effect was immediate. Crag Thorne's leg buckled. The Vraxian stumbled forward, off balance, and crashed into the wall where Lisa had been standing. Lisa didn't hesitate. As Crag Thorne turned, she launched herself upward, driving her fist once more into the weak spot between neck and shoulder. The Vraxian roared in pain. 3 seconds. That was all it took. 1. Lisa used the Vraxian's momentum against it, causing it to crash into the wall. 2. She targeted the weak point behind the knee, destroying its balance. 3. She struck the vulnerable area between neck and shoulder with all her remaining strength. Crag Thorne fell to its knees, its yellow eyes wide with shock. It tried to rise but couldn't seem to make its body obey. Lisa stood over the Vraxian now, her fist raised for another strike. Blood ran down her arm. Her body trembled with exhaustion, but her eyes were clear and focused. "Do you submit?" she asked. The arena was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. All eyes were on the human female standing over the fallen Vraxian champion. Crag Thorne looked up at Lisa. For a long moment, there was only the sound of their breathing. Then, slowly, the massive alien lowered its head. "I submit," it said, its voice echoing through the silent arena. For several heartbeats, the arena remained completely silent. Then, from somewhere in the vast crowd, a single sound rang out. A cheer, then another, and another. Soon, the entire arena erupted in noise. The sound was deafening. Lisa stood still, breathing hard, looking down at the Vraxian. Crag Thorne remained on its knees, head bowed. The floating referee moved quickly to their position. "The human champion is victorious," it announced. "The Vraxian has submitted." Medical teams rushed onto the arena floor. Some went to Crag Thorne, but most came to Lisa. She waved them away, wanting to walk out on her own. But as the adrenaline faded, her legs began to shake, her vision blurred. The pain she had pushed aside came rushing back. Lisa accepted the help of 2 medics who supported her as she walked toward the exit. The crowd continued to roar. Many aliens were standing, making gestures that seemed respectful rather than mocking now. As she neared the tunnel leading out of the arena, Lisa saw the human delegation waiting. Their faces showed disbelief, joy, and pride all mixed together. Captain Monroe stepped forward, and gently placed a hand on Lisa's uninjured shoulder. "You did it," she said simply. "You actually did it." Lisa managed a tired smile. "Told you size isn't everything." The medical team took Lisa to the station's medical center. Alien doctors examined her injuries with curious eyes. They seemed surprised by how quickly her body responded to their treatments. By evening, Lisa could sit up in bed. Her ribs were bandaged, her cuts were sealed, and medicine dulled the pain. Visitors came throughout the day. First, the human delegation, bringing thanks and news. "The Confederation Council has agreed to full membership status for Earth," Peter told her. "Your victory changed everything." "They're calling you the human champion across the station," Alan added. "No one's laughing at humans anymore." Later, a surprise visitor arrived. The small maintenance alien, Zix, slipped into her room when no one else was around. "You used the weak spots," it said, wide mouth forming that strange smile. "Your information was good," Lisa replied. "Thank you." Zix made a gesture with its three-fingered hand. "Balance is restored. For now." Then it vanished as quickly as it had come. The most unexpected visit came that night. Lisa was about to sleep when her door opened. Cragthorne ducked to enter the room. The Vraxian's injuries had been treated, but it moved stiffly. Lisa tensed, ready to defend herself despite her condition. But Cragthorne kept a respectful distance. "I came to honor a worthy opponent," the Vraxian said. Its voice seemed different now. Quieter, less arrogant. "You fought well," Lisa replied cautiously. "No Vraxian has been defeated by a smaller species in living memory," Cragthorne said. "It is educational." Lisa wasn't sure how to respond to that. "Your technique," the Vraxian continued. "The way you used my strength against me. This is something Vraxians do not practice. On Earth, we call it martial arts," Lisa explained. "It lets smaller fighters defeat larger ones." Cragthorne considered this. Perhaps Vraxians have focused too much on strength alone. It extended a massive hand toward her. Lisa hesitated, then reached out. Her hand disappeared in the Vraxian's grip, but this time the touch was gentle. "Earth has more to teach than we believed," Cragthorne said. Then it turned and left. 2 days later, Lisa was strong enough to attend a formal ceremony in the Confederation Council chamber. All 12 human delegates stood proudly as Earth was officially recognized as the 18th full member of the Galactic Confederation. When Lisa entered the chamber, the alien representatives stood in a gesture of respect. The head of the council, one of the tall gray aliens, addressed her directly. "The human champion has proven that appearances can be deceiving," it said. "And that strength takes many forms. This is a lesson the Confederation needed." After the ceremony, Lisa stood by a viewport, looking out at the stars. Captain Monroe joined her. "You know what this means, right?" the captain asked. "You've changed humanity's future. No one will underestimate us again." Lisa smiled. That was the point. "Earth is sending more delegations," Captain Monroe continued. "They want you to help train our representatives. Teach them what you know." Lisa looked out at the stars again, thinking of home. Thinking of all the humans who would soon travel to this station and beyond. Humans who would no longer be seen as weak or primitive. "I'd be happy to," she said. As Lisa stood there, looking at the endless stars, she knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself, had earned its place, and she had helped make it happen. In just 3 seconds,